Besides using the size and position window to ensure that shapes are the same height and the same width consistently, it's also important to make sure that shapes are aligned correctly. Any little bit of alignment becomes really obvious to the reader. Let's start first of all by making these shapes out of alignment. For instance, I'm just going to arrow this shape down so it's not in alignment. And I'm also going to arrow this shape to the left so it's not in alignment. And maybe move this one down. And maybe move this one to the right. Okay, so let's first of all start with aligning these three top shapes so that they're aligned to the top. I'm going to click on the first and then hold the shift and click on the second and the third shapes. What I like to use on the Home tab is the Align option, and this is under Position, and then you've got Align Top, Align Middle, Align Bottom, so you've got 3 horizontal alignments. Alternatively, you can press the key F8, and F8 will also bring up an Align Shape window. Now when you look at the 3 options here, really because these shapes are not the same height and width, because 2 of them are process shapes and 1 of them is a decision shape, I would be going for this option, that they're all vertically through the center. So I'm going to click this option here and click OK, and now I know that they're perfectly aligned. What I then do is click this shape, hold the shift and click this shape and make sure that they're all in alignment. So I'll press the key F8, and I really want to go for this alignment here, that they're all through the center, and OK. And I know now that they're in alignment. I'll click this shape, hold the shift, click this shape and press F8, and again do the same. And then I'll make sure these 2 shapes are aligned, F8, and they should be aligned to the top because they're the same sorts of shapes, and OK. And then this shape and this shape, press F8, and they need to be aligned as well, so align them to the top, and OK. And now I know they're all equally shaped. Now the distance between the shapes also needs to be equal. So what I want to do here is make sure that we have an equidistance distribution between the shapes. Let's start with these 3 at the top again. So I'll click 1, hold the shift, click the second and the third shape. And I want to make sure the distance between these shapes is equal. So the best way to do this is go to the Home tab in the ribbon and go to the Position button. And what we want to do here is we want to look at the spacing options. This is the distance between the shapes, 15 millimeters, and we want the same spacing for both, so we'll apply, and OK. But then I look at that and think, is that enough? So I can go back to Position, I can go back to Spacing Options, and say, actually, let's make it 25, and OK. And so the distance is equal between these shapes, and it's also an equal 25. Let's try this way. I'm going to click this shape, hold the shift, and click this shape and this shape. And I'll go back to Position. What I want to do here is automatically space them. And so it automatically moves the selected shape and spaces them evenly. And I can do the same with these guys. This one, and this one. And I'll go back to Position. And I'll space the shapes, and this time I might do it differently. This time I might make it distribute vertically equally. So I don't want to specify an amount like 15 or 25. I don't want it to automatically space it because I find it reduces it too much. So what I can do is go into the space shapes and say distribute vertically evenly, and what it will do is take the 2 most outer shapes and evenly distribute them between the 2 most outer shapes. So let's do that. Distribute vertically. Now that means I need to rectify these guys. So I'll click this one, shift click this one, press F8, align them to the bottom, oops, undo, align them to the bottom, which is a bit confusing because it's actually that one, and OK. Let's try that again. That one, and OK. It's been stubborn. So with the both selected, I'll arrow them down. That's just the nature of the beast. Now what I want to do is evenly distribute vertically these three. So I'll click this one, hold the shift, click this one, and I'll go to position, and I'll go to space shapes, and I'll say that I want it vertically distributed. And it's done it. I might then decide, right, these three, I'll move them out to the left just by using my arrow keys. And I'm establishing basically a left position. I'll click this one, hold the shift, and this one, arrow these out to the right, so I'm establishing a right position, about there. And then what I want to do is make sure that these three are distributed horizontally evenly. So I'll go to position, and I'll go to space shapes, and horizontally. And basically it'll make them equidistant between that point and that point, between the left point and the right point. So it's really important to be able to align shapes easily and be able to distribute shapes equally.